Hey yo, what is up? We're back again. This time today we are on the tier 7. This is the FSV Scheme A. Again, British wheeled medium tank, one of the new medium tanks. There are a couple of differences with this tank. First off, I want to say to you, you don't really need a vertical stabilizer. Probably don't need that experimental equipment in the first slot. Instead, I think I would rather run a rammer, and that's because the reload time on this tank is 4.6 seconds, so you could technically save about half a second and increase your DPM. I think that would be better because the gun handling on this tank and the aim time is better than the tier 6. I just ran with this equipment because I was just comfortable with the tier 6. I thought I made a good choice there, but on the tier 7, this again, reaction video means this is my first game as well, getting a feel for what's going on in tier 7. To be honest with you, this tank is pretty funky looking. I like especially like the look of the tier 7. The wheels are a lot bigger. It reminds me of the Sherp. If you don't know what a Sherp is, it's like a floating Russian little Jeep, off-road 4-wheel Jeep, and it's pretty cool looking. The bad thing about this tank, let's get straight into it, it's got 5 degrees of gun depression, on the verge of being unplayable, because 5 degrees just gives you limited opportunities to do anything effective. You've got to find the right places. Even if you at the right place, you are 1-2 degrees gun depression off to do anything at all. So this is a pretty frustrating tank to play, but I can see a lot of people liking this tank and doing pretty well in it. Now, as with all the wheeled tanks, there is an issue with the rotation. When I say rotation, I mean hull rotation. Hull rotation is pretty shit. It is pretty slow to turn. But going forwards and in reverse, power to weight ratio, all that is really good. You want to get out of trouble. If you can reverse out of trouble, that's great. If you can go forward out of trouble, that's great. But if you have to rotate your hull out of trouble, that's where you're gonna face an issue, because the rotation mechanics on wheel tanks just not great. On paper it looks like it's nice, 31.29 looks fancy, but in actual practice it does not rotate on the spot very well, especially if you're moving. One of the tips one of the commenters said was you can rotate a lot faster if you are stationary. That means if you're not going W or S at the same time, if you're not going forward and reverse at the same time, you want to rotate your hull. If you just rotate on the spot, it's supposed to be better, and I'm trying it out here. I still don't feel the rotation is that great, but it's not unplayable, it's not that terrible. You've got to make your, how to put it this way, you've got to make your forwards and reverses more workable and use them more than you would trying to rotate your hull out of that situation. Also, the other thing you notice, I've been tracked a couple of times, and each time I got tracked, the tank or the armored car is severely immobilized. If you lose one wheel, it's not like the EBR. The EBR, you lose one wheel, you're still 80%, 90% of your tank still works fine. You still got 70% of your mobility, but not in this tank or in this car. You get shot, you get tracked, you lose a wheel, you have, I don't know, 20-30% mobility at best. The best you can get is that much. It feels like you might as well be dead. If you were being held in place, or if if they were trying to kill you, getting your wheel shot would be one of the worst things that can happen to you. So try to keep going forward or keep going in reverse. Try not to turn too much. Gun depression, a huge no-no, but gun accuracy, gun reliability is pretty good. Again, I was saying the experimental equipment with that gun laying drive thing, I don't think you need that in your first slot. I think you would do better with a rammer so that you can get your aim time down to 4 seconds and, you know, improve that DPM. Aim time is already pretty good, 1.73 seconds. So, you know, just run a rammer instead. IRM is still useful, I suppose, if it helps with your hull rotation and your gun rotation. And you do need those optics because the view range is absolutely shite on this tank, 370 meters. I think you can just sneak over the maximum view range of 444 meters or whatever, just a little bit over that. So don't rely too much on your cruise skills to get your view range up to maximum view range. You still need to run some kind of view range optics or double optics is what I'm doing right here. IRM, I don't know, that's optional, I suppose. Maybe you can run a turbo instead. And then I think a rammer would do this tank really well because the gun does come in handy if you can keep it firing. So I would suggest gun rammer. I definitely would suggest optic. The other slot, I don't know, up to you. Maybe you can run a turbo or something else. It's entirely up to your play style and what you would prefer. In this game, it looks like we're very tight. It looks like, you know, we're not winning or we're not losing, but they are pushing up this way to our base. We've got to make an escape, try to run. I'm going to try and run to the hills. Our heavy tanks on the northern line absolutely trash. They're doing nothing. They're not going forward. They're not going backwards. And we have a turtle in our team. And if you have a turtle right now, turtle is like the cheat code right now because turtle has been buffed. It is absolutely insane right now. You can play the turtle like a heavy tank. It has the speed now, it has the penetration. It is pretty useful tank right now. It is no longer that super sluggish, slow tank destroyer. If you slap a turbo on it, the turtle can absolutely dominate the dominate the game if you play it well. But unfortunately, right now, our turtle VK T103 Tiger 1, they're all of them are stuck up in the north, while the three of us here, me, the E25 and the Skoda, is trying to hold on to the base. I do not have gun depression. I need to get myself all the way poked down to try to shoot that. It's very difficult. I have a shot on the Hellcat, so I'll try to shoot at that. Now, if you notice on this map, a lot of changes when I was spawned out and I was heading out to all the usual positions. You can see this map has changed drastically and dramatically. I was trying to adjust to it as well. It is my first time in the tank. It is my first time on the map, so I'm not too harsh on myself. I don't care if I do well or not. I'm just trying to put out a video and give you my first impression or a reaction on the FSV Scheme A. And I think, you know, I'm not doing fantastically well, but I'm not throwing away the game. I lost a lot of HP because early in the game because you know, I made some silly mistakes and perhaps maybe overestimating the capabilities of the SFV. But it's not too bad. We're doing okay. Now we're up 2 tanks and we're up HP, and the enemy tanks are just pushing in blindly to a heavily camoed E25 that can absolutely farm them. As long as they try to keep me alive, I should be alright, but unfortunately no one is shooting at that GSOR, so I am gonna just try and take a shot here at him before I try to escape down the hill. But that GSOR 1008 manages to snapshot me before I can make my escape. This is a close game, but we managed to... I think that E25 did a great job there, camoed up. I think he did a lot of damage in the end. I'm just going to fast forward the rest of the game. You can see the rest of my team pulled back here, came back to that base, and then the turtle just absolutely bossed because he's got armor, he's got hit points. The VK absolutely did nothing all game. I think, look at him, he's still got a lot of HP, but I suppose he did a lot of damage up north. We did end up winning the game, but I think, yeah, this is like my first impression on the FSV Scheme A. Turtle and E25 basically carried the game for our team. VK didn't do much. I did okay for myself, finished third on damage. I hope you enjoyed this video and took some useful information for your next tank, the FSV Scheme A. I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.